Hey everyone, welcome to a special edition with Sarda tonight. We're going to have a community conversation, this time with the wonderful Julie Anker, who is with Main Street Theater Works. They are having a very special event this weekend, both Friday and Saturday night, to be part of their major fundraising efforts for their year. And, let's face it, our community theaters need all of that support. They do 2 major shows a year and then have to augment with this fundraiser. So what they're doing tonight and tomorrow night and on November 6th is a radio show reading of Treasure Island. Yes, that's the, Stevenson classic Treasure Island. They have styled themselves after the radio shows that were done by Orson Welles and his troupe as part of Radio Theater of the World. And this is going to be a wonderful thing. It's going to be at the historic Sutter Creek Grammar School in Sutter Creek. So if you want to get tickets to that, go to MSTW.org to get your tickets. Or if you can't make it and you would just like to support an amazing community theater, go to their website and donate to this worthy endeavor. They've got a lot of wonderful sponsors for this. They're so excited, and I'm excited to share their commentary with you. So I'm going to go ahead and get their video up and started. So listen to Julie Anker. Hi, everyone, and welcome to our community conversation. This time, we get the privilege of speaking with Julie Anker from Main Street Theater Works. And Julie can tell us a little bit more about what she does and some of the upcoming cool things that Main Street Theater Works is doing. So welcome, Julie. We appreciate you taking the time out today to do this community conversation with us.
Thank you, Iris. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for inviting me. Let's see, a little bit about me. I've been involved in theater for well over 25 years. I started very young. And in 1999, I did my first show with Main Street Theater Works. It was The Crucible. And then 2 years later, I did Taming of the Shrew. And then I realized, gosh, these guys do some good theater and they're really nice people, and maybe I can help some way. So I got involved in marketing, and fast forward 20 plus years later, I am associate artistic director for the company. And I do marketing, and I direct, and I act, and didn't see that coming, but it's it's kind of how it happens, right?
Yeah.
But what a great company. And I just feel really blessed to be a part of it. There's so many wonderful people behind the scenes that I'm so grateful that are there to help us move forward. So this company's been going on since 1996.
Wonderful.
So it's been around a long time. Yeah.
Excellent. And sounds like you're wearing many of the hats that are worn there, which I hear from so many people who work with theater companies. Yeah. It's like, I always remind everybody, these are volunteers. A lot of these people don't get paid.
No,
we do it because we love theater.
So. That's exactly it. And I think this is not going to be an unusual conversation based on what every other theater company is going, yeah, I get it. I know that. Yeah.
Right,
truly.
Right.
But it's a labor of love, right?
Right. So I have to ask then, since you've done so many of the different things there, which one's your favorite?
Oh my gosh, that's so
like
hard.
Picking your favorite child now.
It is. I mean, I've done so many shows there. Probably one of my favorite was the first time I did Taming of the Shrew there. It was just a real magical show for me. And so that would be one of my favorites, but there's so many others. And I've directed a lot of wonderful shows, The Last Lifeboat, Sherlock, we did Leaving Iowa, which was another favorite. So just a lot of, I've just, like I said, I've been really blessed. I've had a lot of great opportunities and worked with so many wonderful actors. And I live in Sacramento, so let me make it clear. I live in Sacramento. The company is up in Jackson in the foothills, which is about an hour away. my car is just sort of on automatic pilot now. It just goes, right?
Yeah.
And people go, why do you do this? It's a long drive. And I'm like, because it's a wonderful company who does wonderful work and they treat their people well. When I first started, I came in as an actor and I was like, okay, so what else do I need to do? And they're like, no, you just need to act. We have your costumes covered. We've got the set. You don't need to worry about props. And so we have tried to keep that all the way through. And we just are, that's the expectation is actors act, costumers do the costuming, set people do the set stuff. And so we try to make it as, professional as we can. We rehearse in Sacramento up until Tech Week, and then we go up the hill and for Tech, and then the shows are, Friday, Saturday night at the Kennedy Mine Amphitheater. Mm-hmm. And we do 2 shows every summer, and it's just a blast. And I think people that have worked up there, we get so many people that come back want to come back every year. And so we must be doing something right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've heard great things about the productions at Main Street Theater Works.
Glad to hear that.
And we're going to hear about the amazing production that's coming up.
Exactly.
Share a little bit.
Thanks
please.
for asking. So we do 2 summer shows each year, and then we're done with our season. But guess what? The bills still come in, right? There's still insurance and your storage facilities you pay for and all kinds of other things. So we do a fall fundraiser. And this is the 12th year of doing the live radio show reenactment of one of Orson Welles and the Mercury Theater on the air productions. So a little history on that. In 1938, Orson Welles was approached by CBS to do a summer replacement series for like 9 weeks. And it ended up being much longer than that because it was such a hit. But what he did was he took literary classics like Treasure Island, which we'll be doing this weekend, and he condensed it into a 60-minute radio broadcast. So what we do is basically emulate what he did, reenact what Orson's vision was and what they produced. And there are a lot of companies doing live radio shows now, and it's great, and they all are wonderful. What we do that's different is that we reenact something. So Alan Ponce, he's our Orson Welles is what I call him. He's an artistic associate with the company. He takes the script that Orson had, he transcribes the script, and then he casts the show with actors who can do multiple characters and, try to emulate the sound of the voice, the inflections, all of that. And then we have a live Foley table where we do all of these sound effects. And we have, in this show, there's probably 25 different sound effects. And I do probably 3/4 of them for this show. Oh. And so I run to the microphone, I do some stuff, and I run back to the table and I do some sound effects, whether it's people walking in the sand or doors slamming or bells ringing or the wind machine. And we have really quite an arsenal of sound effects, which is just awesome that we've collected over the years. So that's how our radio show is a little bit different. This weekend, Friday and Saturday night at 8 o'clock, and then Sunday we have a matinee at 2 up in Sutter Creek at this historic grammar school, which is this really cool old school that they've remodeled and revamped and brought back to life. We are producing our show there. And so people come, it's $25, and you get a dessert bar, this fabulous dessert bar you can cruise through a couple of times, and you get coffee, tea, and then you get the show. So it's a really good deal. And it's our fall fundraiser. It's what helps us get to next summer, to get through it. So it's a really fun evening. It's only an hour, and we have in fact, there's a clock on the wall behind us, and people can watch to see how close we get to that 1 hour mark that Orson was very tight about getting to. And I will tell you, we do pretty darn good. That one year we were in 3 seconds off. It was amazing. And then the whole audience erupted like, oh my God, look at the time. So it's really fun, and it's a fun thing for the whole family. And I encourage people, bring your kids, let them see how this is really done. It not everything comes out of a computer, you know? And so,
Absolutely.
and sometimes we'll have
Absolutely.
kids come up and they'll want to know, like, how did you do the blind man stick, or how did you do the walking in the sand, or can I ring one of the bells? So it's really it's educational, and it's fun, and it's just a real nice evening, and it's a great way to support Main Street Theater Works.
Absolutely. Oh, that sounds brilliant. And
Okay.
I have loved the advent of radio shows that have been coming through our newsletters and going, oh, they're doing a radio show of this.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I saw yours for Treasure Island and I went, oh my,
Oh
that
yeah.
should be a good one. So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that this is one of your fundraisers. There are very many of our theater companies now who are looking at just what you said. How do we pay these bills for the theaters, for our rehearsal spaces, for our rental space, for all the other stuff we're not using right now?
Right.
And this is how folks can help. So when you see this, get your tickets so you can go up
Yeah.
and support this amazing theater company by attending this radio show. It should be amazing. Plus, you get to watch all of that happen.
Right.
It is fascinating. I'm always one of these people when, yes, I go to the theater to enjoy it, but I also go to the theater to see how they do that thing.
Right.
How they
Right.
make that effect, how they handle this how did they do their set changes and all of those kinds of things. So I love seeing what we consider the background stuff.
Well, you will really enjoy this, and all the actors are dressed in costume this was done in 1938, so we all have 30s themed costumes. We have the mics that are the old-fashioned mics, so it's really kind of transports people. And it's so funny. I mean, some people love watching all that, and then the first year we did it, I looked out in the audience and I was like, oh my God, we put them to sleep, because they were just sitting there with their eyes closed. And I was like, oh, they're listening. They're not sleeping.
It's
But
hard to explain to people. You never really watched the radio. You just
exactly.
listen.
That's right. But people did back then, right? They watch and they try to figure it out. And so it's really, I mean, it's a really cool experience. And like I said, you're going to find, and we have an amazing cast. We have Scott Adams, who plays multiple
Oh,
characters.
he's excellent.
He's wonderful. Ernesto Bustos, who's an amazing pirate captain. He's got this fabulous voice. Mike Cecilia, who plays all kinds of characters. And Scott Adams' son, Andrew, is our young Jim Hawkins. And so we're
nice.
thrilled to have him. And then Alan Ponce is Orson Welles, who also is old Jim Hawkins, who narrates the story, as well as being Long John Silver.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
I play multiple characters, and I get to wear the crown that Agnes Moorehead wore back in the day. She was part of there was the Mercury Theater, which was their stage group, and then when they went on the air, Orson said, that's fine, I'll do this, but I want to bring my theater folks with me.
Right.
And Agnes was one of the people that came along. So I listened to the radio recording, as all of the actors do, and go, okay, how did she sound? What were her inflections? How do we make this as close as possible to the original?
Mhm.
And part of that is because you have to do it as close as you can to stay within the time limit.
Sure,
You
absolutely.
to stay within that 60 minutes, you better get close to that. And sometimes, they screwed up, but so we screw up. We go, oh, I guess we're saying it this way now. That's I think that's part of the fun of it all. So
And
it's
the beauty of live radio at that time
live
and
theater.
live theater now. So
Right. And it
it
was
may not be the
live.
same.
It was like we've done Dracula, we've done Tale of Two Cities, Around the World in 80 Days. And of course, the most famous one, War of the Worlds. We've done that a couple of times. And, that whole thing was so crazy because it was chaos in the sound booth while they were doing the recording. Police were in there, they shut them down. And finally, Orson said, the people listening are going to be even more freaked out if the radio goes off the air.
Right.
We better figure out how we can let them know that this is a radio show. So there's all this fun background. And at the end of our show, we do a little talk back. So if anybody does have questions about the Mercury Theater, what we did, how we did what we did, Alan is great. He's a fountain of knowledge for all this stuff. So you get dessert and coffee, tea, and a show, and a little talk back afterwards. And it's just a really it's a nice way to spend, an hour and a half.
And it's a great way to support a
And
community
it's a
theater.
great way to put it in. So yeah, so
Absolutely.
we hope people will go to our website. It's mstw.org. That stands for Main Street Theater Works, mstw.org. You can get tickets online. Seating is limited because it's a small venue. Or you can buy them at the door, which there are still some seats available. So, but I highly encourage people to get them online if they can.
Sure.
And bring the kids, bring some family members and friends, and just it's a fun. It'll be fun.
Absolutely. And I'm going to throw one more out there for anybody who's listening to this or watching this. Can they just donate to you because they want to?
Oh gosh, I don't think any theater company would turn that down. Of course,
I'm sure you have a button.
Let me see. Yes, actually, if you go to the ticket page at mstw.org and say, I can't make it, but I'd like to donate, there is a button down below that you can donate. And obviously, we would appreciate any and all support. It's, COVID just kind of threw everybody into a whirlwind. And it's so important to keep the arts alive. It's so important. And so whatever, people can do to help is most appreciated. No question.
Sure.
Yeah. And then get on our mailing list so that you know what we're doing next summer at the Kennedy Mine Amphitheater. And come out. This venue is absolutely gorgeous. If you've never been out there, it's a great place to bring your picnic dinner and your bottle of wine and spend the weekend. My gosh, there's wineries and shops and all kinds of things to do up in Sutter Creek and Jackson. Amador County's rich. Yeah. So get on our mailing list, go to the website, mstw.org, and hopefully we'll see y'all this weekend.
Yeah, any of you who have never been to that area, you really need to take a trip up there. Those foothills are gorgeous. There's so many beautiful places to go and see, including the Kennedy Mine Theater and what's going on with Main Street Theater Works. So, Julie, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, it's been just a delight to have you here.
I had a great time. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. And, break all the legs this weekend. Raise all the monies, and I hope it tied you all over well so we can be excited about, you need to come back before you guys start your season next spring and tell us what's coming up. And we'll do another one of these.
Yes, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. And we will have a rich season. And again, just go out and support all theater. It's super important, truly.
Absolutely. So, absolutely. Yes. Well, Julie, I appreciate you so much. We appreciate all of you who joined us tonight. Go out this weekend to the Kennedy Mine Theater. Well, no, it's going to be at the school.
Right. So go to mstw.org.
Right. Go get your tickets. Go make a donation. I'd rather you go see the show because you're going to have an amazing time. And there's dessert and drinks in it. So what can you say? What can you say? Julie, we appreciate your being here. I want to thank all you guys out there, and we'll join you again for another community conversation with Sarda. We thank you so much for joining us. Bye, everyone.
And there you have it. That is our group from Main Street Theater Works, hosted by the lovely Julie Anchor, sharing what's going on this weekend. Remember, it's just happening this weekend. So 8 o'clock tonight, 8 o'clock tomorrow night, and 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. You can hear Treasure Island presented by them just as they did it back in the 1930s as a radio show, with the whole, energy of Orson Welles around it. I think it would be wonderful. Plus you get dessert and drinks. I mean, come on. What a great time to go and do something like this. And if you've never explored the foothills in the Jackson and Sutter Creek area, it is beautiful up there right now. You can see some of the fall leaves. It's nice crisp nights. There's wineries and lovely places to visit along the way. Make some time to treat yourself to this experience. And I want to thank everyone out there and remind you that if your theater has something that they're doing and you want to talk about it, please get in touch with us. We would love to share it with everyone out there in Theaterland through these community conversations, and get your recordings out there and let people know what's going on at your theater. So we're coming into our quiet time of year. We've got all our holiday shows coming up. I really hope to see all of you again for another community conversation really soon. We've enjoyed this one. I hope you can enjoy Treasure Island. Thank you guys for joining us tonight, and be very well, okay? All right. Bye.